Hi, Dr. Stephen, of course. I'm here in my backyard. It's a beautiful summer evening and just enjoying the pleasant weather. And I just wanted to speak to you all for a moment and thank you for your prayers and just give a little context for the last few weeks. I usually am very much on top of my game with regard to these classes, and I've let a few little things kind of slip by. The obvious one is it's summer and we've been gone a little bit, but there's another issue as well, and that is the last month has been kind of a strange season for my wife and me. I think I mentioned in a previous email and in video as well that we had traveled the beginning of June to California, where I conducted my mother's graveside funeral service because she had died a year ago, but because of COVID we could not actually meet at the cemetery until just recently. At that same time, I preached at a mega church in Los Angeles where we first started out in ministry, and it was a very personal, challenging message. And in fact, I'm going to put a link to it. If you're ever interested and you want to watch it, you are welcome to. It was a very personal message that I preached. We came back, and then the following Sunday, I spoke at the memorial service up in Denver of a dear friend of mine, Pastor Tom Stipe, who, of course, was one of the interviews you just saw in your class. And so that was a challenge. And then this past week, two of my dearest friends, my African colleague, Pastor Dafa, who has traveled with me for the last 20 years all throughout Africa, the refugee camp project we had, and his lovely wife Lillian, who has traveled with us many times as well. They've been in our home here in Colorado. We've been in their home in Tanzania. And they became very ill over the last couple of weeks, likely due to COVID, but in Tanzania they don't have any testing procedures, but it sure seems like COVID. And this past week, in a matter of 48 hours, they both passed away. This was just heartbreaking for us. It truly was. And just a blow to us and our ministry. And we're pushing through it. And then on top of that, another dear friend of mine, a ministry colleague here in Colorado Springs, his wife passed away a week ago after a very, very brief but intense bout with leukemia. She was only diagnosed about 5 weeks ago, and then she died. And so on Friday, I was at their funeral, or her funeral. And so it has just been a strange season for me personally over the last month. And consequently, I've just kind of let a few things drop by the wayside, and some of those are some of the things you've appropriately sent questions about, uploading papers and those sorts of things. But we will get back on track. Everybody's going to do great in the class, so no worries there. This week, I'm showing a little video, an interview with a guy named Max Dupree, and the gentlemen that are doing the interview are some of the top leaders from Fuller Theological Seminary, where I graduated. Max was one of the trustees of Fuller for many years. This would be his last interview. They did not realize that 3 months after this interview, he would pass as well. Max wrote several incredible books on leadership. One is Leadership is an Art, or The Art of Leadership. I forget which way the title goes. And the other one is called Leadership Jazz, and they are just remarkable books. It's a short interview, but Max offers so much wisdom, and I think you'll appreciate this short interview, which will inform our discussion question this week. You're all going to do great. Just keep doing the journal. I'll get a site to upload that. Don't worry, we'll catch up with it. And at the end of the class, we're going to have a short but substantive 8-page or so thereabouts essay about how you approached those Lominger competency skills in your ministry opportunities, and how you look forward to the future with them. And so that's it, really. And you'll all do great in the class. I have every expectation that every one of you is going to do fine, and some of you have already walked, so no worries, you will get your diploma. So let's have a great week. I look forward to seeing you guys all in the discussion threads.